After I posted my last video on how to repair lawnmower decks, a viewer had noticed that I'm now using a MIG welder from Miller. He was inquiring as to why I gave up my Lincoln Electric welder. In response to that request, here's a short video. My first welder was called Handy MIG. It's produced by a company called Lincoln Electric. It's sold in many big box stores and runs around $300. This does not include the cost of obtaining a bottle of argon gas. One day I was welding on a project, and the weld bead acted like there wasn't any shielding gas, so I stopped to troubleshoot. I took the cover off the machine. The shielding gas is routed from the bottle through this sturdy hose and into the machine. Inside the machine, the shielding gas is then routed through this flimsy plastic tubing. It appears to be the same stuff you use for your air stones in your aquarium. Well, this item right here is a high voltage transformer. Transformers generate heat as they're operating. The tubing is routed right next to this transformer. The maximum amount of heat felt on this tubing by the transformer will be dead center. And you'll notice that also happens to be where I had to install a splice. The reason for the splice, you may ask? Here's the section of tubing that I had to cut out. What appears to have happened is the tubing got hot. The pressure from the shielding gas then caused it to start stretching. Then eventually a hole appeared right here. So instead of my shielding gas going to my torch, most of it was continuously venting inside my machine, whether I was pulling the trigger or not. I actually found it very difficult to believe a major company like this could make a design flaw of this magnitude. So I tested my hypothesis. I put the machine cover back on, then without striking an arc, I ran a significant amount of shielding gas through my machine. I had no problems. I then struck an arc and did some heavy welding. Eventually, shielding gas stopped coming out of my wand. I pulled the cover off, and sure enough, the plastic tubing had heated up, expanded, and then popped off my splice. My fix then was to resplice it, and both hold it together and insulate it with vinyl tape. This kind of flaw could actually be deadly to the user. Had I been in the middle of a project and decided to take a break, I leave the garage, closing the garage door behind me. The entire time I'm gone, this machine would be venting argon gas into my garage. Now, argon is not poisonous, but it does displace oxygen, and in large enough quantities will cause suffocation. Having previously heard that Lincoln Electric has good customer service, I decided to reach out to them. I sent Lincoln Electric the following. The argon gas tube inside my unit runs next to a transformer that gets very hot. It melted and drained much of my argon gas through a hole that formed when the hose melted. I spliced the tube and currently my unit works. My concern is this must be a design flaw with the unit. What will prevent the tube from melting again? There is no insulation around the tube. Has there been a recall on this welder to fix this problem? If not, what can Lincoln Electric do to prevent this tube from melting again? Do you now install a more robust, heat-resistant tube in the units? If so, are you sending them out to customers with older units? Jim from Lincoln Electric responded and asked me for a whole bunch of pictures, which I gave him. He asked several questions, which I answered. Then he promptly avoided answering any of my questions by stating the following. I haven't seen any other failures like yours. We still put the hose in the same location. And if I still have proof of purchase, take it to one of their warranty repair shops. I did take the welder down to a repair shop where I was told this is a throwaway model. They're not worth repairing. I tried one more time to contact Jim, and the response to that email clearly shows what Lincoln Electric feels about customer service. They blocked me from asking any further questions. I got rid of that machine before it killed someone, and I'm very happy with my Miller. The takeaway from all this? For the purpose of both quality and safety, it's probably not a good idea to buy a Handy MIG welder from Lincoln Electric. And if you're going to correspond with Lincoln Electric, don't ask them uncomfortable questions.